Hello, all. My name is Mukesh and welcome back to my YouTube channel. So today I'm going to discuss about the covariance and how we can find the coefficients for the Pearsons and what is the covariance matrix and practically how we can achieve that. In my previous video lecture, that is the part 1, so I'm going to paste that link inside the video description so you can go and you can watch that video so for better understanding. So in that already I have explained what is the correlation and how we can find the patterns within two variables and how they are correlated with each other and what all are the types of the correlation. So that is in detail already I have explained. So in this video tutorial I'm going to discuss the practical approach for calculating and how we can find out the Pearson's coefficients and correlation between that. So if you are stuck somewhere on doing practical implementation for Pearson or I can say the covariance calculations, then you need not to worry about that. I'm here to help you out. So let's get started on that. So here I have my Jupyter notebook opened and here I have some libraries defined. So I'm taking the mean from the NumPy library, standard deviation from the NumPy, and COV that is not required as of now, that is for covariance, but let me import this also. And here I have import this Pearson and the Spearman. So I'm just going to implement both Pearson as well as Spearman, and what could be the difference in between them I'll explain. So this is coming from the scipy.stats, and for making a data as random I'm just importing the random library by using numpy.random, and I'm using the seed. So for every new run or new launch or new iteration we will get the same result, and I'm just importing the plot pipe matplotlib, right? So let me execute this cell. So it's taking some time for execution. Yes, so it successfully got compiled. Now just for the preparing data, what I'm doing, I'm just taking the 1000 sample, and inside that I'm just adding as individual entity as 100, right? And I'm just multiplying it with 20. In the data second, what I'm doing, I'm just taking the data one as an input, plus I'm doing the same from the previous but making as a 50 plus in that one, and I'm multiplying it with 10, right? So let me compile this cell. So here it's saying data one is not defined. So it's not a data one, guys, it's the data set one. Yes, here we can see the cell got compiled, right? So now let me show you what is the data set 1 contains and what is the data set 2 contains. So if you will see in the data set 1 we have a lot more samples, right? So the data is got created. So here if you will see it is 96, 51. So these are the random, right? Because I'm using the random library randn, right? Similar to data 2, if you will look on this one, similar. Yes, so here we can also see the random samples created for the data 1 and data 2. Now let me try to print the mean and standard deviation for both the data set 1 and data set 2. So here I'm doing mean equals to 0.3f. So three fractions I'm taking. Suppose here we have after the point floating, so 140.00472499. So I would like to take only 004 up to 3 units 004, similar to standard deviation. So for calculation for that, what we have to do, we need to call mean. So in if you will see the first cell here, I have imported this mean, right? And now after that I'm taking the data set 1 because I need to calculate the mean for the data set 1 and a standard deviation for the data set 1. Same operations I have to perform for the data set 2. So here I'm just calculating mean over the data set 2, standard deviation for the data set 2. Now let me run this cell and we'll see the output. So for data set 1 mean equals to 100.547 and standard deviation equals to 20, and for data set 2 mean equals to 150.325 and standard deviation equals to 22.493. So here you can see I'm taking only 3 floating values, right, after the point 3 to 5. So for just example, if I'll make it as 2, let me do it. So here you can see the difference, right? Here coming only 150.32, right? So this is the floating values. We can take how many digits we need after the point, right? Let me run it again. Yes. So now I will plot the scatter diagram for the data set 1 and data set 2, and we will see how it looks like and in which direction it is getting increasing. So I'm just using pyplot dot scatter plot I need for that one, and I'm passing the argument as data set 1 and data set 2. If you will look the arguments that is accepting by the scatter plot, so here you can see the x and y. So here x denotes to data set 1 and y denotes to data set 2, right? All the other arguments I'm leaving it as, but I'm just passing only the required data set 1 and data set 2, and after that I'm just showing this plot. So here you can see the x-axis 40, 60, 80, 100, and y-axis 80, 100, 120, 140. So if you will look carefully on this diagram, then you can see the variable of one variable is, if there is a change inside the one variable, then other variables is also getting increased, and all this increment is happening inside the same within the same degree on the positive direction, right? So if you will see at point 140, and if you will calculate the parallel value for the y, so if value of x is increasing, then value of y is also increasing. So here you can understand like this is the positive correlation, right? Now we will check what is the covariance. So basically covariance variable can be related by a linear relationship. This is a relationship that is consistently additive across the two data samples, right? This relationship can be summarized between two variables called the covariance. So basically in normal types guy, what is that? We will be getting a matrix, and inside that we will be getting some data. So if you will see the diagonal values look like similar. So this is the formula where how we can calculate the covariance. So here we can say we need to do sum of x minus mean x, right? So we need to calculate the mean of x into, we need to multiply with y minus y mean divided by n minus 1, where n denotes to total number of samples. So here what I'm doing, I'm just taking the covariance of data set 1 and data set 2, and I'm just printing the covariance, right? So if I'll do the covariance, then here I'm getting this covariance matrix, and this covariance matrix getting some values. So here you can see the 418.389, and here you can see the 4183.79, and the value difference is 424 and 506. So based on this covariance matrix we can take the suggestions, or we can take the our best fit models, or we can say the how we can achieve with other approaches, right? So this is the covariance matrix. Now let's look what is the Pearson correlation. So in earlier videos, the part 1 already I have explained about this Pearson correlation. So if you want some theoretical knowledge, just go and watch that video. So the Pearson correlation coefficient, already we can say it as with Carl Pearson, can be used to summarize the strength of the linear relationship between two data samples. So as I mentioned, this is only for the linear relationship. It tells the linear relationship between two data samples. The Pearson correlation coefficient is calculated as the covariance of the two variables divided by the product of the standard deviation of each data. It is normalization of the covariance between the two variables to give a interpretable score. So we'll see what is that. And Pearson correlation coefficient we can calculate. We can pass the parameter covariance xy divided by standard deviation of x into standard deviation of y. So for practically checking the how Pearson correlation works, then we need to call Pearson R. So if you will look at the imported library, here I have already imported this Pearson R. This is from SciPy and states. So here I'm just passing data set 1 and data set 2, and I'm taking only 0.3 floating vector, and I'm just printing that correlation, right? So if I'll print this one, then here I can see the Pearson correlation score is 0.902, right? So after this Pearson correlation, we can check the strength between the variables and how they are attached with each other. So some decisions and some calculations based on this factor we can perform, right? Now we are using the same data set, and I'm just calling the Spearman's correlation on the same data set. So instead of calculating the coefficient using covariance, so guys, this Pearson correlation we are taking with the help of covariance matrix, right? But here, instead of using the covariance and standard deviation on the sample themselves, these statistics are calculated from the relative rank of values. So here you will see in the Pearson correlation, we are using the covariance matrix, and covariance matrix concept, if you will see the formula, covariance of x comma y divided by standard deviation of x into standard deviation of y. But here you will see the coefficient, we are using the rank of x into rank of y divided by standard deviation of x into standard deviation of y, right? So now let me run the same by taking the Spearman. So I'm taking the Spearman library and I'm just passing the dataset 1 and dataset 2. So if you will look inside the what is the Spearman parameter accepts, so here a comma b equals to none, axis equals to 0, and main underscore policy. So I'm just leaving all those blank. I'm just taking the required parameter, that is the dataset. So this is the dataset 1 and dataset 2, right? So if I'll run this one, then here I'll be getting the Spearman correlation is 0.893, right? So here my suggestion is, guys, if you are not aware like which is the correlation you have to implement in your uh, project, or if you are doing some practical implementation and you are not sure like whether it's a Pearson Spearman correlation, then I'll suggest you should go with the Spearman correlation. So they'll give this will give the some better results. So this is all about the practical implementation, guys. So what I'm doing, I'm just attaching this Jupyter notebook link to my GitHub URL. Also I'm attaching it to video description, so you can download and you can do the practical and you can have a hands-on on that. So thank you so much, guys, for watching my video. You please share, subscribe and like my videos, and welcome back to my Mukesh Tech YouTube channel. Thank you so much.